Thank you so much for being here with us in PodKISS. It's a pleasure for us. And we know that you are a huge fan of KISS, so it's a double pleasure to have you here. Firstly, we'd like to thank you for participating in PodKISS and tell us a bit about your early days. To be a rock star was always what you wanted for your life?
Well, firstly, I want to thank you guys for having me. And yeah, I mean, I can see your backgrounds. I'm a huge KISS fan, and it's awesome to be able to be part of this interview together with the cat with KISS fans, and hopefully we can talk a lot about that today. Actually, my musical career started a lot with my influences with KISS. I was hugely inspired by KISS, mainly like the 70s era. The early albums of KISS really inspired the performances that they had from 1973, 1976, all those early KISS shows. I was completely obsessed. And seeing the way Gene Simmons performed back in those videos, and how he had such an attitude, Paul Stanley too, really inspired me to become a musician. It made me want to become a rock star. And that's how I actually started becoming a bass player, because I started as a bass player. And from there, a few years later, I started also playing the guitar. So that was kind of how it started. And, from KISS, I started discovering a lot of more bands that were more shock rock, glam, Alice Cooper, Wasp. And from there, heavier and heavier, I started listening to thrash metal and, extreme metal. But it all started with KISS. Yeah.
Talking about Alice Cooper, you have a great story about him. Tell us, please.
Yeah, a big fan of mine. His name is Pat from the United States. Knows him personally, and I have been a huge fan for Alice Cooper too, and I love his music. And obviously, he is a legend when it comes to the scene of shock rock. And I mean, he's told to me, I can get you into one of the concerts of Alice Cooper. And for me, that was an honor. I was like, hell yeah, in the Netherlands back then, like 4 years or 5 years ago, before Cobra Spell was founded. And I had this idea that I wanted to start a band, but I wasn't really sure, because I was more someone that was joining already existing bands. Back then I was a member of Burning Witches, and I wasn't really confident about starting my own band because I never had done that before. And I had the opportunity, thanks to my fan, to see Alice Cooper perform, but also surprisingly to meet him face to face. And I didn't know that was going to happen. It was kind of like, well, I'm going there to see him play, but if I get to meet Alice Cooper, that would be fantastic. And it was possible. And I told him a little bit, like, it was a very short conversation, and I took some pictures with him, and he told me to really pursue my dream to start a band and to really do it. And that's kind of how I got really it's not a little push that I got from the universe, from Alice Cooper, to start Cobra Spell.
All right. When I hear the Cobra Spell album for the first time, the first thing I say to Carlos is, it's too much Wasp, and I love it.
Nice. That's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we see a lot of influences from KISS in your work, right?
Yeah.
The new album 666, which is great too. And today we are totally dedicated to Cobra Spell. And this album 66 was released in November. How was the composition of this album?
All right, so the composition dated in the beginnings of 2023. I believe somewhere around the beginning of 2023, past year, maybe a little bit 2022 also. And all the compositions and mainly the songwriting has been on my hands. So with some ideas from Christina and Noeli here and there, but mainly in my hands. And they were mainly composed from home, really at home in my little home studio with my guitar, just playing and getting ideas. And I like to write music on my own pace. So I think it took around one year, 1.5 years to get the album like done. And yes, the sound of the album is obviously very 80s inspired. There is songs that are more going towards the more raw 80s rock and roll, like Bad Girl Crew is a very straight up sleazy rock song. But when you listen to The Devil Inside of Me, it's a more speed metal song. So there is quite some different sounds in the album, I would say. Or Love Equals Love is more of an AOR song. Yeah. And AOR is a style that is like very melodic, Survivor style, like very synthesizer oriented 80s music, like movie tracks. And this shows that 666 is an album that I didn't want to fit in one style of the 80s. I didn't want to sound 100% just like one. I wanted to get myself inspired from all those artists and textures and sounds from the 80s that I really look up to, and wanted to infuse that in the sound of this album. And that's why there is songs of so many different influences. And I think that makes Cobra Spell special in that it's not just one thing what you get, it's a mixture of the sound of the 80s. And yeah, I will feel bad if I couldn't exclude something that I really like about the 80s, such as the synthesizer. I really like that, and I want to have it somehow in it. Or I want to have a very groovy track, and I want to have a more faster metal song to kind of like release that speed influence in there somehow. In some songs, like Love Crime is a more faster song. After songwriting 666, I created demos. I always create all the demos at home. I sing all the vocals, everything, I program all the drums, and I deliver everything to the rest of the band. Whoever is gonna record at the studio, for example, Noeli and Christina recorded at the studio for this album, and they learned to perform the vocals, and this way it went. And Noeli had made her own guitar solos on the album, and we recorded this in Comeback Studios, which is in Spain, Madrid. We traveled there, and we recorded in a month time the full album. Yeah, and this was a half year before it was released, so it's probably like May 2023. So that's the process.
It's a great upgrade from Anthems of the Night and Love Venom. This album is really, really great, really well worked. The video clips are great too, so congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you like it. I always try to get better. But of course, I Love Venom and Anthems of the Night have a special place in my heart. But 666, I try to make it better than the EPs. Yeah.
Right. And Cobra Spell in a couple of months will be in Brazil. Just to do the dates. July 3rd, Brasília. July 4th, Goiânia. July 5th, São Paulo. When I meet you there, obviously. 6, Cuiabá. July 7, Joinville, Santa Catarina. Sorry. How's your expectation to do these concerts in Brazil? When we talked earlier, you said it's the first time with Cobra Spell outside Europe, right?
Yes, for Cobra Spell, it's the first time. It's not the first time for me.
Yeah.
Having
you
visited...
are almost a Brazilian.
Almost. I just need to learn a little bit more of the language. I can understand here and there some things, obviously, because I have worked with the girls from Crypta, and I had to listen to a lot of Portuguese back then. But yeah, I've been there, And yeah, I'm very excited to come back. I have been able to see a concert there. Also, I saw Christian play. And I saw how to say it, how passionate the crowd is there. So I got to see how the Sao Paulo crowd is. I got to visit a famous street in Sao Paulo, which has a lot of music stores. I don't remember the name. Galleria, yes, I went there. And yeah, I have visited a little musical spots, and I hope that I can have this experience with Cobra Spell too. And I hope that that we will have a nice crowd there, because I have no idea if there is a lot of people listening to Cobra Spell in Brazil.
A lot of people.
Yeah, we announced this Latin American tour, because it's a Latin American tour now. We have added a lot of more dates, and a lot of people were reacting like, yeah, and it was like, wow, I'm so amazed.
And Sonia, sorry about that. Any chance to give more dates in Brazil, like Rio de Janeiro, for example?
Would be fantastic. I mean, we are doing what we can. Our booker, our booking production, who is doing this tour, Somdo Dharma in Latin America, is working very hard on getting what he can and what he is able to do. I think for now, these are the Brazilian shows that we have like 100% booked. I don't think there's gonna be extra Brazilian dates added to the tour. It's gonna be Brasilia, Guyana, Sao Paulo, Cuiabá, and Joinville, and Porto Alegre also.
Porto Alegre.
It's gonna be these places in total. I'm sorry for the ones that I know Brazil is a huge country, and there's so many places that we still have to visit, but it's our first time getting out of Europe, so I'm sure there's gonna be a different opportunity that we can go there. I mean, this is a great start.
Yeah, no, it's just a joke because I'm from Rio de Janeiro, but of course it's a lot of dates, and a lot of people will be able to see Cobra Spell, and this is great.
Yeah.
Sonia, talking about PodKISS again, recently the band made a final concert on their supposed last tour ever, because we are KISS fans, we know KISS is never gonna be an end, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the band? Did you see this last tour or any other tour?
I was not. I mean, I've seen KISS live a few times, but not in the last tour. I think it was the end of the world tour, but it was like
final road
2 years ago or something.
One of the last shows. I'm
not sure. But the experience that I had at this concert was so fantastic for me that I didn't want to ruin it somehow. I don't know. I don't want to make it sound negative, but I wanted to have a last show that was like a good memory. I bought tickets for my parents because I wanted my father and my mother, to see what band got me into what I'm doing in my life. What band has put this musical curse on me. I wanted them to see what and experience it. So together with my father and my mother, I went to see a KISS concert in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. And it was so crowded. It was a fantastic experience. I mean, you could see the dedication that this band puts into the concerts, the age they have. They're so old. Paul and Jean, they're old guys, and to be able to deliver such an incredible concert, my respect goes so far for this band. Even if they had like so many lineup changes and went through so many changes, for me the essence of KISS has always been there with Jean and Paul, and it was a good way for me to say, okay, that's for me a nice ending for the band. I'm sad, of course, because my dream was, I would love to tour with KISS as support, or even like I want to be a member of KISS, it was a good way to end it, and I think that was for me like the end of KISS concert. And you guys, did you get to see one of the last shows?
I see Kiss 4 times, and these 2 last world tours because they made a world final tour in 2022 and 2023. They did another in Brazil, and I
Wow.
come to both.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been 6 times. The first one was in 1994, which is a
Whoa.
great achievement. They
Damn.
came here. They came in Brazil for the first time in 1983. It were the last shows with the makeup on,
Mhm.
but this one I was too young, so I couldn't go. But it's a very famous show in Brazil from Creatures of the Night with Vinnie
Yeah.
Vincent and Eric Carr, so it was incredible. And I know that you like Vinnie Vincent a lot. Sometimes you use the Hank cross, and you have the T-shirt from Vinnie Vincent Invasion. I think it's great.
I
Can
am
you tell us about
yeah.
your
I
influences from the Kiss guitarists?
I'm super influenced by everything Kiss, really. I know that Vinnie Vincent wasn't that professional. I've read the stories about everything. I've read books about Kiss and stuff, and I know he wasn't like that professional with the band, but I really like him as a persona, the way he was as an artist, and the crazy way he plays. Vinnie Vincent was and the way he writes music, he's a mastermind in the songwriting. I mean, he wrote "I Love It Loud." He wrote "Unholy" also.
Yeah.
Like, he wrote many great songs.
Almost an entire Lick It Up album was Vinnie Vincent too.
And nobody knows that, actually. And
Yeah.
he's a mastermind. He's a mastermind, and yeah, I look up to him, and also his solo work, like what he did as in Vinnie Vincent Invasion, his 2 albums. But my admiration for guitar players in Kiss goes beyond. I mean, Ace Frehley for me is the best guitar player Kiss ever had. The classic guitar player for Kiss. The way he moved on stage, like the way he was like completely out of the stage, with his mind when he's playing, and the smoke coming out of his guitar, and his personality was like completely outer space, and
Yeah.
and his playing was like that too. And for someone that is very like into guitar playing, like interested in technical guitar playing, there's something out Ace Frehley's playing. It's not technical, but he has classical sound.
Yeah.
His sound is, he can play one note and you can hear it's Ace Frehley, the way he does it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him a fantastic guitar player, in my opinion, because he has a character, he has his sound. And he is a legendary guitar player. Yeah, he inspired me a lot. So
great. Did you listen to 10,000 Volts, his new album?
I did listen to it a little bit, not all the songs. I have to say it's not my cup of tea, but I mean, they are getting very old, and maybe, I don't know.
yeah, there's a lot of doubts about the way he's playing, really, right, live and etc.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I don't hear that much Ace in it.
Yeah, but just the fact that he's releasing a new album in 2024 is a great achievement.
It's almost a miracle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, of course. And I totally see that he has the passion to making music. He wants to keep the flame burning, and that's great that he keeps on doing what he's meant to do, playing the guitar. And not everyone is gonna like it, and I mean, if he's happy, that's what all that counts,
Yeah, you probably like Bruce Kulick a lot too, because you have a lot of Kiss covers in your channel from the 80s, right?
Yes.
How do you like him?
Bruce Kulick also fantastic. I mean, his playing was also super, like, completely different. Like, all guitar players in Kiss are so different from each other. They all have very different styles, and Bruce Kulick also was, an artist by himself. very 80s, like super 80s style of playing. You can hear it in the way he plays his solos and the choice of licks and everything, and a lot of tapping. And I have played some of his guitar solos, and it's interesting to see how different they play. Yeah.
Great. Well, lately there's been a lot of quite a movement from bands that are all female bands, right? Which some years ago was not that common. And Cobra Spell started with men and women in his formation, but today only women. And was this your main goal, to have all female bands since the beginning?
Since the beginning, not actually. Cobra Spell started as a mixed band indeed. I didn't have anything in mind with gender. I just wanted to work with people that I like. It could be a woman, it could be a man, it could be someone that identifies differently. I don't care. As long as the person shares the same passion, for me, that's more than enough. That's more than enough for me. And that's why I just looked for people that fitted this kind of music that I wanted to play with Cobra Spell. And from there the band started growing. Like we released Love Venom, not even with a lineup. Like Love Venom was released actually with just 3 steady people in the band. Everyone was more like playing like a studio musician. We had a studio drummer, and and I played the bass guitar in that EP. It was very just a do-it-yourself home project, and a lot of things were recorded from my own home. And so Love Venom was released, and people seemed to like this style of music. For me, it was like, well, I don't think people are gonna like this, because this is very old school. This is very not the kind of music that people listen to nowadays, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. And I saw that people really liked it. So in Anthems of the Night, I started taking it a little bit more seriously. I got a steady lineup, for the band. It still was a distance situation because members were from like different countries. It was kind of difficult, but we made it happen. And with Anthems of the Night, we had music videos going on, and this is where Cobra Spell started taking off. And you might have known that I have been in all-female bands in my past, such as Burning Witches and Crypta. And with these bands, I have with Burning Witches, for example, I've been part of like 3 years. I've been a member with them. And with Crypta, I've been part of 1 year. And the influence that I had in those years being part of these bands, I saw that it inspired a lot of women out there. And that effect that you have with an all-female formation on other women is huge. It's huge. The genre, like rock and roll, metal, is very male dominated. It's by itself, it's like that, and it's slowly like changing. This is something that has been going on, like it's changing every time, a little bit more women. And I think the more women there is in the genre, the less intimidating it can be for younger girls to see, look at this awesome girl playing the guitar, I want to do that too. We can be role models. And this is something that I feel a certain responsibility for. I started growing this responsibility when I was being part of these bands. And due to changes in Cobra Spell, the rapid growth that the band was experiencing, Napalm Records started being involved, like interested. And I needed to solidify the lineup of Cobra Spell with a lineup that was ready to release a full-length album and that was ready to tour, around the world. And in this opportunity, I decided I want to try to make Cobra Spell a full female formation with opportunities that I got. Of course, I didn't force it. Like I didn't say, okay, now Cobra Spell. No, it was like, oh, I can, there's gonna be lineup changes. I'm gonna look for a woman. Let's see how that goes. Of course, it's super, super hard because there's not many women out there that are interested in this style of music. But Cobra Spell managed, and the lineup is amazing. Like the girls are very hardworking. They like the style of music, and I mean they're part of the process, and it's great. And I feel like right now as a women formation, we're getting women that are sending us messages like, oh, you girls are so awesome, you inspire me, and that makes me very happy. It makes me very happy to see that women out there, or not even also women, but people that don't know how to identify themselves or feel a little bit out of place in the way that they express themselves, they also feel very comfortable with Cobra Spell, because Cobra Spell is a little bit of a band that has a very open way of expression. We are kind of like crazy and stuff, and people that feel that want to express themselves freely, I think Cobra Spell is a great band to listen to for those kind of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's great that you said that you have a lot of freedom and you are not afraid of showing your female side and etc. Because we can see by your videos, right, from sex,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's great because you are free to do whatever you want. So it's great to see that. And there is even a fact that you have an OnlyFans account, so it's something that you are very comfortable with, right?
Yes, and it's not something that came very naturally for me, because I come from a very conservative background. I have a very, I was in a non-school when I was little, and very Catholic, very conservative. And this is something that pushed me a lot to be in a certain way. I had to really fit the mold as a woman, you know, I had to dress in a certain way. I was not allowed to wear a bikini, for example, like things very, very like very strict way of living. And this is something that when I moved to the Netherlands, because I was initially living in Spain, I started seeing a different way of thinking. I live with my father, who is someone who is not religious. Before with my mother is someone that is religious. And this opened my mind a lot. I'm by the way not against religion, but I am against the way of thinking closed-mindedly, you know, of holding back the freedom of expression for women is something that I'm against. And I started realizing that I had a background that is very, very conservative, and I try to kind of liberate myself from that slowly. It took many, many years, because I had like a shame inside of me, like a shame that I was living with, that I was not able to be in a certain way, because if I was in that way, I wouldn't be taken seriously, or I would be criticized, or I would be harassed. And this is something that a lot of women out there are living with, this thing that it's in the back of our heads, because it's something that is worldwide, like this way of living. In some countries less than others. You know, I'm lucky that I'm living in countries where this is a little bit less. There's some other countries that it's incredibly worse. And I feel like I have a certain responsibility, having that experience of really working towards my freedom, to help out others to find their power as a woman, to show them that it's scary at first, but you can be yourself if you want to, you know. And unfortunately, the world is not made yet to be able to do that, because you're gonna get judgment, a lot of judgment. You're gonna get a lot of like criticism, but I need to make a change, and I want to be that role model for the women out there. And I hope that it makes other girls feel a little bit more comfortable with themselves. So yeah, my songs are a little bit extreme sometimes. Like I might be singing about sex, but you know what? Blackie Lawless from Wasp did it too, and he's a man. And why in the 80s it was also quite controversial for him to do that. But imagine if a woman did. Imagine if a woman did back then. So I just want to kind of feel the same way, you know. I want to make a change there, and I want to normalize and talk about taboos in a way that we can talk about them. And what better way to do it than with music? So that's kind of what I'm doing.
That's great. And Sonia, you talk about your early bands, and songs like Crypta and Burning Witches are bands with completely different sounds of who we made you today with Cobra Spell. And are there many differences in training routines, compositions, process, and performances?
I would say songwriting wise, there's a lot that comes close,
Yeah.
even though it's styles that are very different. I've always tried to keep my melody in there. I have a way of working with melody. My solos always stay my style, like the guitar solos always is my identity. In the bands that I've been in before, Burning Witches, I didn't compose any kind of music, so there is no composition there, only lead guitar stuff. With Crypta, I composed a lot of music, and there I try to fit my mind into more extreme music. You know, I have been listening to a lot of music in my career. I enjoy a lot of different music. I'm not a closed-minded person when it comes to that, and I know death metal very well, and I could channel my style of playing into death metal very easily, also because I have been a bass player in death metal bands for over 7 years, 8 years. I have been in many bands as a bass player before in the Netherlands, so it was an easy switch to just start playing death metal songs, like, or write death metal riffs, and as long as I could, like, infuse my melody, because this is something that is in my identity, something that I cannot get rid of, and it's something that I really love, is the melody of the guitar playing, the harmony. This is something that I was unfortunately, when I was in part of Crypta, I was a little bit limited in that section because I wanted to write a lot of melody. In some songs I could do that, like in From the Ashes, you can hear a lot of melody. It's a song that I wrote fully, and I could express a lot of that melody in there, but I couldn't do that in every song, because otherwise every song would be extremely melodic, and that I couldn't do that there. So that's why I felt very comfortable with my own band, Cobra Spell, in which I was able to fully express my melodic identity, my musical identity. And, you know, my roots is 80s music. This is what got me into music. And if I am true to myself, if I'm asking myself what makes me happy, is playing this 80s inspired music is what makes me happy. It's my identity. This is what I want to do. And that's how I started only writing music that is something that I really identify with, like melodic riffs, groovy riffs, synthesizer influences, very melodic, catchy, hooky vocals. That's something that I really like. I'm really interested in that kind of songwriting.
Yeah, great. It's great to see you happy doing this kind of music. And especially because in July 2023, you met again with the girls from Crypta, right? In a show. And we know that it was a very important and a very great moment emotionally for you.
So emotional,
Because the last time we so we are happy to see your career has developed from them to now, from the beginning of the work with Crypta and now. And how do you feel now that you can dedicate yourself 100% to Cobra Spell? And how was really meeting with Crypta in that time?
I feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to do. It's been a hard, rough path to learn how to choose for myself. You know, it's very hard when you're a musician and you want to grow higher and better, and you know, you want to become that musician that you have in your head. Like maybe you want to become very successful, or you want to become very popular. And for many years I was thinking, I want to become this guitar player, and that's why I was trying to, you know, be part of other people's like concepts and ideas, and you know, and being part of something that was already established, when I realized that what makes me very happy is creating music for myself and paying homage to the music that I look up to. And that's the lesson that I learned throughout the years, is to, you know, do my own thing, do my own band, and focus on that 100%. And I'm very glad that I did that. You know, many people won't understand that. I get daily questions of, why did you leave this band, or why did you do that? And I'm like, I'm sorry guys, but it makes me happy. And I mean, the universe works his way, and the band is going very well. Honestly, I don't mind if the band is bigger or smaller or less or more successful than any other band that I've been in before. You know, I don't care about that stuff. What I care about is that I can make my music, and that I can bring a smile on other people, or I can inspire other people with it, and more so if I can bring a change to a positive change into the society. And that is kind of what I want to do, and I want to do this in the most authentic way. I don't want to like seem like something, you know. I don't want to have to dress myself in a way that people want me to do so the band is cool. No, I want to just dress myself as I want to. Also on stage, like in any band that I have been, I've always been myself. Like I've always put my aura's eyes. I'm gonna tell you something funny. There is a band before, like, that I've been part of, that said you shouldn't put your eyes on. And there's a band also that said you cannot name yourself Sonia Anubis. You have to use your real second name. I have been in many situations in which people have tried to kind of like, I was even prohibited to do interviews. Like many things have gone on in my past, and many people try to really lower my voice as a musician. I don't know why, and this has, you know, caused situations very uncomfortable for me. And my conclusion is that I'm a very happy person if I can be authentic, be myself, play my music. That's all I want. And I want to give only real performance to people, only music that I stand for. And yeah, that's a little bit the thing.
After all, freedom is more important than everything, right?
For me, yes, absolutely. Authenticity. Yeah.
Sorry. Sonia, in Cobra Spell, we have multiple cultures, right? Besides you from Netherlands, we have Brazilian guitarist Noelle dos Anjos, the Spanish girls Cris Vega on vocals and Hayo Nafta on bass. And from Venezuela, we have Roxana Herrera in and how they been handled with this difference on tour or on studio, because we have two South American and three Europe, and we have three girls from Latin culture, and you from Europe, from Netherlands, a Brazilian girl that not have Spanish has first language. And how you do that?
It sounds super complicated, but we're all based in Spain, excluding Noelle. She's based in Berlin, and we all speak Spanish. And Noelle is actually learning very good Spanish, so we can communicate ourselves very well. Yeah, it's because we are based close. We can make things happen. Yeah, and now we're based in Spain. I was living a year and a half ago in the Netherlands, and back then the lineups before really were like living in different countries. That was very difficult to deal with. Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah, and the thing about the language, I was thinking before the interview that we should do this in Spanish, but I don't speak Spanish.
No.
Gabriel,
Neither do I.
Gabriel speaks. Well, you speak a little Spanish, but I don't. And this is because we were colonized by the Portuguese, right? Not like other countries from the South America that were from the Spanish. So it's a little bit of a shame, because we could do this interview in Spanish, because you talk like your mama is from
I have to
Spain.
learn Portuguese.
Yeah. So no, but it's okay.
If we're gonna play a lot in Brazil, I'll try to learn some Portuguese.
Yeah, Noelle can teach you, and we are very happy. We are very happy to have a Brazilian guitarist in your band, and I like this multicultural thing. So for now, we can speak in English. So I know that it's almost like your second language, right? So That's okay, I think.
I'm sorry since now because I barely talk my own language. So English is even worse to me.
English.
So
I can only say caralho.
right.
Obrigado.
This is the first words Brazilian people teach for everyone.
On the case.
Yeah.
Feijoada.
That's true.
Feijoada.
Great. But take it easy with feijoada, not with not a lot, because that's so good. It's good, but it may not be good for your disposition.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we have a Q&A with more short answers. Sonia, to start, favorite Kiss album?
The first one, the debut album.
Me too.
And
Great.
the first one, yeah. Also, I have a little bit like Hotter Than Hell. I really like also, but the first one, Alive one. I'm a classic Kiss girl.
You conquered Gabriel now with this answer, right, Gabriel? Yeah, and we also loved your review of Destroyer in your Instagram, right? You are very excited with the songs,
Yeah.
and you
Singing
do air
Flaming
guitar
You.
with them.
Flaming You, set your heart on fire. Yeah, I know every single song. I'm crazy.
Yeah, and you have a song called Flaming Heart, so it's kind of
Yeah.
remind of a great song, by the way. So we talked about some guitarists, but we didn't talk about Tommy Taylor. What do you think about him?
He's a great guitar player. I know that he had his Kiss cover band before he joined. He's a huge Kiss fan, and he does a fantastic job. Of course, he is not like fulfilling a position in which he expresses his authentic persona, in my opinion, because it's the Ace Frehley persona. But he's a great guitar player. He plays very well.
Right. And from the 80s, what's your favorite Kiss album?
Oh, that's a good one, because nobody asked that one. But I would say I think it's Animalize, Lick It Up. Yeah, I think it's those two.
Right.
But I would say maybe my choice goes more to Lick It Up. I think the Lick It Up is my favorite.
I used to say Lick It Up is almost heavier than Creatures of the Night, but people don't talk about it.
Creatures of the Night is a great album too. Yeah.
In PodKISS, we have some jokes about two albums. The first one, The Elder, and the other, Carnival of Souls, which are very different. What do you think about them?
What I think about them, I mean, The Elder is like completely different world. It's different. I don't know what Kiss was thinking when they made this album, but Carnival of Souls, I think I would have to give it another listen. Let me see what the songs were on this album. No, I honestly, I cannot remember about this album.
It's more a grunge album.
I have listened to The Elder, but Carnival of Souls, I check it here. I have not listened to it.
Kiss also don't listen to, because it's released on reunion tour, so Kiss forgets this album too. That's good.
And it was like, so out of place. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I kind of missed that one. Yeah.
And Sonia, festival, dream festival for you, Cobra Spell and 4 other bands to completely the set.
So my favorite festival with 4 other bands.
Yeah.
Can it be bands that are not existing anymore, or they
any
have
band?
Yes.
Any bands?
Yes.
Bands. Okay. Well, obviously Kiss, Alice Cooper, and Def Leppard. Actually, yeah, those would be my 3 choices. They're very like known choices, but they are a huge inspiration for me. seeing Def Leppard live was also like amazing experience for me. The vocals, the guitar riffs, they are amazing band. So, and Alice Cooper, obviously. I mean, yeah, that would be my my dream.
Just a curiosity. First time I met Carlos in personally because we are from different states. Was in a Def Leppard and Motley Crue concert.
Yeah, wow. The stadium too. 1 year ago, it was this, March 7th.
Almost
in
March 7th.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see that too.
Yeah.
We are a little sad because Poison couldn't do it, and Joan Jett. So just Def and Motley Crue.
Huge bands.
Yeah. We have another tricky question, which here in PodKISS, you said that 2 of your favorite albums are the first and Hotter Than Hell. But if you had to choose an album that would not exist anymore from the 6 first ones, right? The studio ones, the 6 first. Which one is your least favorite?
My least favorite from the first 6. Yes. That's a horrible question.
I told you to not do that with Sonia, right?
That's horrible. I will not discard. Like, each album is so different, actually. Each album from this first 6 albums from KISS are, each of them, they have hits. Like, I cannot discard any. Like, Destroyer, every single song is incredible, rock and roll over, and I cannot, and I will not. I can say which one I listen to less, but I deny. I won't.
We have a huge fan here in Brazil, Paulo Castro, who he also escaped from the question. He couldn't choose.
To be good to you, we're gonna let you do with Carnival of Souls. Left Carnival of Souls behind.
Yeah, that one I haven't listened to anyway. Maybe I have, but I didn't even like save it in my brain.
Yeah. That was easy. That was easy. And what did you think about the polemic avatars of KISS? Did you read? Did you see?
I saw a little bit about it. I don't know how to feel about it. I think I would have to see it to really have a real opinion, but I think people go to see a band to see like the band, to see the band perform their music, you know, the actual artists who made the song perform the song, or at least the ones who are behind the identity of the song and of the band. And it would take away a little bit of the real feeling of the music. Maybe it's still like a nice thing to go as an experience, though it's a different thing as a live show. I wouldn't experience it as a live show, in my opinion. But I don't know. It could be a fun thing. I cannot have a real opinion because I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't say it's like a live KISS show. It's a simulation of a live KISS show.
Should we finish here? The last one is, who is Sonia Anubis?
Who is Sonia Anubis? I don't know. Guitarist, Dutch guitarist, living in Spain, guitar player of Cobra Spell, a woman that loves playing the guitar, everything artistic. I love music. I love doing creative stuff. Creative, artistic women from the Netherlands/Spain. I think that's me.
Yeah. I think that you are a great example of a young musician because you know how to deal with a lot of aspects, social media, and your teaching lessons and the videos and the way you deal with your image, the way you deal with Cobra Spell image, because I think the new formation and the visual that you are establishing now with the album 666 is so great. It's very beautiful, and with Napalm Records, right? You have done a great job. So that you think it's a great moment for Brazil to finally see Cobra Spell shows in July.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, it's that. For me, Sonia is an inspiration for the youngest generations. Like we said in the middle of the interview, years ago, women don't have this space. And when you see people like Sonia, like the girls from Crypta and or Cobra Spell, of course, we see many little girls want to play guitar. My daughter talked to me yesterday that he want to play piano or guitar in school because he see with me Vixen and Cobra Spell and Crypta, and she had 9 years old. So you are a greatest inspiration from the youngest girls.
That's beautiful. That makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Okay, Sonia, it was a very good, very important and emotional and great moment to have you here with us. Since we can experience these moments in your career and you almost coming to Brazil. If you want to leave a final message for people who are listening to PodKISS, feel free. If you want to talk about social medias from Cobra Spell and everything, feel free to do it.
Well, firstly, I want to thank everyone that is listening to this interview right now. I want to thank you guys for inviting me and giving me a platform to promote Cobra Spell in Brazil. We're excited to come. It's going to be the first time. We're going to try to give best show we can, and we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We are preparing a very nice set list. And we all are very excited, especially Noelle. She's going back to her home. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And if you want to listen to Cobra Spell, we have our music on all streaming platforms. We have our music on YouTube. We have free music videos out there. And yeah, so if you like some rock and roll, then check Cobra Spell out.
Sonia, thank you so much for your time. It will be an honor for us. I really can't wait to see you in July in São Paulo. I think we have a great time there. So thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Take care.
See you there.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.